All right, y'all. Time for post game analysis blackout video. Um, Bulls win this game 107-99. Um, how many teams really can hold the Jazz to under 100 points? And that that team was leading the league in away game 3-point shooting at like 38%. Like, our defense is legit. Okay, our defense is legit and it will travel. So we don't need to hear any more noise about our defense. We at least as a team, okay. Individual defense, there was a play in the game where Donovan Mitchell had a switch on a DeRozan and it's a pick and roll opportunity with DeRozan and Vooch. At that point, it didn't matter. I knew it was going in because I was like, oh, he got the two worst one-on-one defenders that he has to deal with in this. He's scoring, and whoop de fucking do he did. Speaking of, he was 9 of I believe 20. He took an absurd number of shots. It was like I think somewhere between 25 and 29 shots. He was like 33% shooting. He was shit. Zoe did his job on him. Zoe did his job on Clarkson too. At one point, he was 0 for 10, and once Zoe got off him, he started getting off. But Zoe clamped. Zoe fucking clamped, and he didn't do much else in the game. Well, I take that back. First quarter, Zoe carried. Zoe pretty much carried the first quarter. He had 9 points in the first quarter. He was extremely aggressive. Yada yada yada. Second quarter, DeMar had it going. At that point, he got like another shot, and then he just kind of. I mean, he took a couple extra shots, but he wasn't as aggressive, and he just kind of let DeMar carry it. DeMar had 32 points. Zach had 26. Um, Vooch was like 4 of 19. He was atrocious shooting, but he made some big shots down the stretch. He was 6-8 from the free throw. He had 12 rebounds. Okay, I'm just trying to run off most of the stats here because they really don't matter. The bench didn't contribute a whole lot to scoring. I think they had like 20, maybe 22 points total off the bench. I could be wrong. It might be less than that. But look, let's talk about why the Jazz lost this game and the Bulls won. Okay, if you go look at the stats, they're virtually equal in just about everything, except they couldn't stop their transition defense. The Jazz couldn't stop the Bulls' transition defense. And quite frankly, I just think we had better shot chart balance. DeRozan in the mid range was just knocking everything down that he took, and they had no answer for him. They had no fucking answer for him. Um, I mean there's that and a lack of turnovers. That's pretty much what sealed the game. Okay, we lost the rebounds, but we kept that under 10. Okay, and that might be the formula for winning this year. If you can keep the rebounds under double digits, you're probably going to be in most games of wins. But this team is not turning over the ball. Their defense is carrying most of the time, and they got a diverse shot chart. Now, one of the things I really liked is they were cutting a little more this game, but the main thing is they got into the paint. And they got into the paint with Rudy Gobert there. Now, there was some lulls when they weren't getting into the paint, but they just so happened to shot decently well tonight, so it's like, eh. But they got into the paint, and them getting into the paint affected the game. It forced Rudy to have to respect everybody. Hell, Lonzo first play of the game, he attacked the rim, and Rudy blocked him. But it don't matter. That set the tone for everybody else. And even though Vooch shot poorly, and we had a couple other people that didn't have great shooting games. Alonzo was like 4 of 11. We still had enough efficiency and defense going on. See, when we're having bad shooting nights like we do, you keep the defense and you keep the defense and you keep the defense. And as long as you have that defense, you're in every game. Okay? The one game we lost was by 1 point to a playoff team. This game we won by like 8 points to a playoff team. And not just any playoff team, a team that was basically like a win away from the Western Conference Finals. Okay. And the team that had the number one seed last year, and the team that was undefeated, was the last undefeated team until tonight. Okay, so that should tell you something. Your defense travels. That defense is solid. It's gonna work. Just you can't be in situations where you switch to Rosen on you and pick a roll, and you got a fast guard that he has to stay in front of, and you got Vooch back there with him. It's not gonna work ever. Um, they missed Conley tonight, and I think he may have helped them get like better shot distribution because Ingles and O'Neal and Bogdanovich didn't take a bunch of shots, and they were. I'm trying. I think it was Bogdanovich. I think he was the one that was like 6 of 8 from the field. They got to get their guys more involved. We didn't block out Rudy Gobert enough, I felt. Um, Too many plays where Donovan or somebody else attacks the rim and they blow it, and then Rudy just gets a rebound, gets an easy 2 points, and I mean that was it. You know, we had one point in the game where we were ahead by like 15. We had one point where we were ahead by 15, and they eventually started knocking down threes and coming back. And Alonzo had a costly turnover, and after that, it was just like, okay. And then they settled down, and they played well. They played solid defense because, quite frankly, let me be real. And this is one of my problems with that team. You really need Donovan Mitchell playing point guard. He really don't need to be a two because he's too small. And even though he's strong, he's athletic, he's he's a little too inefficient for my liking. And I feel like of all the like star or superstar scorers in the league, he's one of the easily more stoppable ones. I feel like if you told me to pick a star guard that you want to have to play against and could shut down, it would be either Russ or him. And he showed that tonight. Zoe beat him up pretty well. Hell, everybody beat him up. They just played their defense. And the only person I felt like he had an easy time scoring on was Caruso. I felt like Caruso was playing overall not as good. I think he had like 3 or 4 turnovers tonight. But everybody else, it seemed like they did a solid job on him, particularly Zoe and Zach. And yeah, there was some moments where he started getting it going. Like when Zoe was sitting, he got it going. But when Zoe came back in, especially in like the first quarter, it seemed like Donovan wasn't trying. It seemed like he was just chilling. And then when Zoe left, it's like, all right, it's go time. But Zoe always plays Donovan extremely well. So it's one of those things where it's like, it don't surprise me. It's like, all right, look, Zoe gonna play me hard. Let me just wait him out and then get going. If I get going, cool. He can't stop me at that point. But it didn't work. He got going, but he had to work for every fucking shot, and it was just he was seeing too many bodies. And when you're 6'3" and you're trying to attack, and you're seeing 3 bodies, it's very hard for you to get your shot. Okay. Um, Yeah, I honestly, and I know a lot of people can disagree with this. I'd probably start Jordan Clarkson at the two and put Donovan as the point guard and have Mike Conley come off the bench. That's what I would do. And then you got someone who can kind of quarterback that those guys when Donovan sits. Outside of that, um, this is a pretty standard game. Okay, not too much happened. Um, Low scoring in general for probably the league, but definitely low scoring for the Jazz. Like you just normally don't keep that team down like that. So for them to do the damage that they did to the Jazz, that should be very telling. And now you can't say, well, they haven't beat a playoff team. But I know let's push the goalpost back. It'll be, well, you only beat the Jazz, or you didn't beat a championship contender team. That's probably what we're gonna hear. But 5-1 for the Bulls. Very simple. Now let me say this too. If you guys reflect back onto my video where I discussed the Jazz, one of the things that I mentioned about them winning this game is I felt like, well, this is one of the few teams where we can play them straight up and we don't have to worry about size because they don't have a bunch of like bulky bodies outside of Rudy Gobert, and it's just a matter of, okay, making Rudy have to respect Vooch. Vooch didn't have it going this game, but the next game he might have it, and then what? Okay, now Ingles, Bogdanovich, like 6'8" ish. Okay, you can get by with Lonzo on one of them, or Zach on one of them, or DeRozan on one of them. Okay, it's not gonna kill you. So matchup wise, I think this is a matchup where it played into our strengths, even without Pat Wheel. Okay. I'm not privy right now to who we play next. I think it's the Celtics. It should be because this is what game 5. If memory serves me correctly, it should be the Celtics and hold on. Let me see. Okay, had to verify. So yeah, it is the Celtics next, and then it's going to be Philly twice, and then Brooklyn. Um, I had us beating the Celtics mainly because I didn't think Jaylen Brown was playing. This one's going to be a tough one, um, because you don't know which Jason Tatum you're going to get, and I don't know which Jaylen Brown we're going to get. You know, and quite frankly, nobody on our team can guard Tatum. We can put Zoe on him. Zoe, if Tatum is actually 6'10", that's 4 inches he got on Zoe. You can go ahead and mail that one in. I mean, it could be. I put it like this. Let me not underestimate Zoe. Zoe is a very good defender. He's probably better. He's probably the best version of himself as a defender that I've seen or could expect. So let me not sell too low on Zoe's ability to play him. But this is one of those games where you got Dennis Schroeder, and I know a lot of people aren't high on him, but he can put the ball in the hole. You got Jaylen Brown, and you got Tatum. You're going to need 2.5 guys on defense all night. Their best lineup or their closing lineup is probably the lineup that you're going to want most of the game on them, because Caruso and Zoe are going to have to carry their weight against Brown and Tatum. And you're just going to have to hope Zach LaVine comes along and can help neutralize Schroeder. And also hope that DeRozan is still carrying his streak right now. Streak. He I think this is like 5 games straight of him breaking 20. Okay, so if he's still on it and I hope he's having another efficient night. If he's having another efficient night, you could probably mail this one as a W. But I can see where we could lose this. Um, I had us splitting with Philly if Ben Simmons played. I had us actually sweeping them these two games if he didn't. I'm going to walk that one back. I think we're going to split no matter what. I think one game at least Joel is going to just be too fucking much. And so we should go 2 out of 3 this coming week. Then we got the one with Brooklyn. And that'll be the following week, but I'll get into that one later when we get closer to it. Celtics aren't doing too good. I believe they just lost to the Wizards tonight in double overtime. Wizards are 5-1 people. They're right there. I mean, if you guys want to go ahead and apologize for my statements about the Wizards, you can do so at any time. I'm no rush. No freaking rush. They don't have Rui, and they don't know when Rui's coming back. So no rush. I will be here. Just make sure your apologies is as loud as your disrespect. That's all I ask. But Bulls get the win tonight. Um, I'm not too hyped about this game. I thought there would be more fireworks, so I'm a little disappointed. I was expecting like a shootout, and it didn't happen. So hopefully we get that against the Celtics. And I will say that I've enjoyed watching Lonzo play the Celtics because it's always been a good game. Think back to last year when they when they put Melly at small ball 5 and they went into overtime and won against the Celtics. You know, and I believe the year before that they went in and just straight blitzed them and beat them by like 30 or 40 points. You know, so Zoe usually plays pretty well against the Celtics. So we'll see how this turns out. But anyway, this won't be as long as my usual post game videos. I might go look over a couple things and post about it tomorrow. So if y'all get a couple of uploads from me tomorrow, that'll probably be why, unless I get some kind of inspiration somewhere else. But I hope y'all have a good night. And I can't wait to read the comments because I know y'all are going to point out some things that I probably didn't mention on purpose. Because, like I said, this game wasn't really worth. This game wasn't really worth the price of admission to me. On to the next one. Y'all have a good night. Peace.